After a divorce, it's common to feel exhausted and forget to take care of some really important details. Today, we're going to talk about what you need to do to tie up all of those loose ends that commonly get forgotten. One thing that especially a lot of women do after a divorce is get their name changed. So, if you do that as part of your divorce, you should receive a certified copy of a name change order. You will need to take that to the Social Security office and the Department of Motor Vehicles to get a new card and a new ID. And then you can use those documents to change your name at your bank, at your doctor's office, or anywhere else you may need to have your new last name listed. Another thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you close any joint bank accounts you may have with your former partner. That may require you guys to go to the bank together, but you want to check with your bank on that. You're also going to want to close any joint credit card accounts that you may have with your former partner. If you owe on those cards, they may not allow you to close the cards, so you're going to want to look into potentially refinancing those or paying them off as soon as possible. Another thing that you may need to refinance is your marital residence. If you need to do that, it should tell you that in your divorce. So you want to go talk to a lender about that. It does not have to be the same lender that you got your original loan from. It can be anyone to refinance at. So you want to look at maybe who's offering the best rates on that refinance. You may also need to transfer your car titles. This can be tricky if the bank still holds the car title, the other party can't sign off on it. In Illinois, the Secretary of State has a power of attorney form on their website that your former partner can sign, authorizing you to sign the title over to yourself whenever you receive it back from the bank. You can find that on this Illinois Secretary of State's website. You just Google it, it'll come right up. You will also want to split your cell phone if you haven't already done that. It's not a good idea for divorced parties to share a cell phone plan because you'll have access to who the other party is calling. It may give you records of where they're going and what they're doing. You don't really want the other person knowing that about you. So you want to split your cell phone plan, and you can contact your cell phone company and they can help you port your number to a new cell phone plan so you can keep the same phone number. Next, you're going to want to take a look at your insurance. So you may have lost health insurance coverage if you were covered by your former spouse. Your divorce is considered a major life-changing event, so you don't have to wait for open enrollment with your employer, or if you're deciding to get a private policy or go through the marketplace, you can do that at any time. But you want to make sure you do that within the first 30 days of your divorce being final, so you don't have a gap in coverage. You may also need to get new car insurance if you and your spouse were covered on the same policy. You also want to look at your life insurance. Some people are required to have life insurance with their former partner as a beneficiary as part of their divorce case. So check with your attorney or check your divorce documents to see if you need to do that. But even if you're not required to, it's always a good idea to have life insurance, especially if you have dependents. Next, if you're receiving child support, you want to make sure that that is all set up. I recommend that you submit a direct deposit form to the Illinois State Disbursement Unit, and they have that form available online. That way they can directly deposit those support payments and you don't have to wait for a check to come in the mail. If you're the person paying child support, you also want to make sure that that's been properly set up. If it's being paid through a withholding notice, which means your employer is sending it directly to the state, you want to check your pay stubs to make sure those withdrawals are happening. If you're supposed to pay it directly, you want to make sure that you start those payments at the time frame that's ordered in your divorce judgment. Finally, you want to make sure you change all of the beneficiaries on your life insurance policies, any bank accounts that have beneficiaries, or any retirement accounts that have beneficiaries. Most of the time when you set those up, you would have had your spouse as a beneficiary. So if you don't change those, you run the risk that they will still get those assets after your death. Next week, we're going to be talking about estate planning, and we'll give you a little bit more information about who to choose as a beneficiary. So make sure to tune in next week.